the end of video 13, I made a dreadful approach and landing into Innsbruck, and I'm not at all happy with that. So I've had a look at the situation, and I discovered that when I put the information into the FMC, I actually put the arrival as LOC 26. I've since looked at it, and there is another arrival which is simply 26 for runway 26. So I have reprogrammed the FMC exactly the same route, except that my arrival is now into 026 instead of LOC 26. If I look at the very final stages of the flight, I have my top of descent point here. I then have that wide sweeping curve that I did before, but now my waypoints along the edge here are different. These new waypoints are marked as DME 21, DME 19, DME 17. So these are distance measuring equipped points. This is 21 miles from touchdown, 19, 17, 15, 13, etc. all the way to the runway. So if I look at the FMC, at my top of descent I will be at 17,000 feet, and on this particular flight it is calculated my cruise speed at 299 or 300 knots, whereas I think in the last one it was 270. Then I have the deceleration point at 10,900 feet. There's my cruise level here is 17,000 feet. And then as I pass the various DMEs, 21, 19, 17, I am slowly descending, 9,500, 9,500, 8,700, all the way down to my last one, which is DME 8 at 5,100 feet. Then I get an additional waypoint AB where I should be 4,400 feet, and then I am touching down at 1,894 feet. So I am going to put in 4,400 feet as my required descent altitude when I reach my top of descent point. I'm still quite a way off that top of descent at the moment. Here is my top of descent point, and this range is showing 40 miles, 80 miles, 120 miles, so I'm approximately 90 miles or so from my top of descent. So once again I'll come back to the video when I reach that point. Okay, I'm at my top of descent point. I'm going to dial in 4,400, 4,000, click, the hundreds, put 4,004, and left click.
Southwest 1540, maintain 170 to 5 DME, contact tower 194.
I will now begin my descent path. So I should now begin to descend as I make this turn into these final waypoints. I am beginning to descend, 16.7. My speed indicator is now showing a required speed of 270.
Turn left heading 310. 170, 310 heading 4191. South of 4896, back 10 right, 10 right, south of 4896.
The throttle has gone to idle automatically whilst I descend. So the throttle is in idle, I am in a descent, and I am under navigation control. I am on autopilot 1. and auto throttle is set. Presently going down at approximately 2,000 feet per minute.
49 going low, reduce speed to 210.
ILS is flashing. If I now click my LS button, ILS will stop moving, stop flashing. If I switch to LS as well, I now have my ILS bars, though I am some way off at the moment. The glide slope indicator is far below me at the moment. So I need to continue to descend to intercept that. Glide slope has now disappeared because I am so far away from it. I'm going to switch back to arc so that we can see more clearly where we are. I'm going to alter the range. It's beginning to make its turn.
4896, turn left 180, going low. Left 180, going low, 4896.
Okay, this is my arc of turn. It will recalculate from time to time to make sure that it keeps on track. Aircraft is beginning to turn.
4181, turn left heading 250.
Reading the documentation yesterday, apparently if you're not happy with your speed of your aircraft, rather than dialing in a new speed here, are perfectly, it's perfectly allowable to use the speed brakes to reduce the speed to the one that is required on the indicator. Okay, so we're now making a nice gentle turn, so we are on track for our next waypoint. Still descending, 11,600.
Southwest 31, 61, 8 miles from Blabber, maintaining 3,000, so 7 on.
At the moment this is looking a lot better than my previous flight. I'm going to now switch back to LS to see where my bars and glide slope are. Rotating, everything seems to be working okay. I have an ILS confirmation here, frequency of 111.10 and a course of 255 for runway 26. Presently passing through 11,300. Speed held at the moment at 270. Switch back to get the view that I require. Still on track for this last curve to these waypoints. You may have noticed there that that arc just was readjusted by the computer, but I am still right on line for my final approach. 10,600.
588, reduce speed to 210.
I'll go back to LS, see if I have any further information from that screen. It's just capturing now the ILS here. You can see the bar moving, so I'm going to select localizer. It will now attempt to capture this and line these three bars up for landing. 9,900 feet. I now have glide slope indicator. Click approach. The system should now track both of these instruments, localizer and the glide slope. Passing through 9,400. Confirmation that I am set up with category 3 single autopilot landing. Speed is showing here. It is following the speed in the FMC. Localizer almost on center, glide slope right on center. 8,000.
Okay, great. So, Julia, Alpha, monitor down 0.9, we are clear across the red line.
Speed is now around 250, descending through 7,300. I now have the runway lights just visible flashing directly ahead of me. 7,000 feet.
Can you confirm minimum altitude now? Can you confirm minimum altitude?
Localizer centered, glide slope centered.
Delta 550, Zulu Alpha, the continuous straight ahead via Bravo and monitor down flight 9.
2 Alpha, Bravo, monitor down point 9, today, Delta 550.
Everything is now looking good, far better than my previous attempt. Smack on center line here, 5,900 feet. Presently doing about 245 knots. It is attempting to reduce the speed to just under 220. Now on the outskirts of Innsbruck, runway ahead of.
73 heavy, tower wind 220, runway 2 to left, be advised.
Gear down.
Tower Jump 217, 1 mile outside of Salt for the VOR 13 left.
2,500.
I'm flight test 15446. Station 688, commence here, runway 13 right, clear take off. Parking 1769, runway 13 right, line up and way. Back 1769, 13 right, line up and way.
Speed now just over 200. Flaps 1.
23.9 you said?
Flaps 1 will determine that it reduces even further. So now we're trying to get to around about 190. Auto brakes set.
Bravo Quebec, and the altimeter is 399
Flaps 2. Runway now just to my left. For some reason, the tracking system doesn't take me to the centre of the runway. It is an offset approach. I will have to make the final right-hand turn to the runway. Flaps 3, 140, full flaps.
300.
Well, that was certainly a better landing, if not absolutely perfect. So I hope that also clarifies some of the things on the final approach to an offset runway with an ILS approach.